Yes, we are back. It is the official 1st of November Tracks of the Damned episode. And we are so excited. Unfortunately, Human the Hoof Beast is off tonight. And, all of our positive energy and everything over to our brother there. But we have the Defiler of the Crown Art with us tonight. And we're going to be talking about some iconic releases in the month of November, but in a different way. We're going to be talking about some newer bands that we kind of feel that you need to know and maybe not have listened to before. So we want to make sure that not only are we basically giving you like some super, super classic records when it comes to doing these. And I know we missed this past month in October. October was crazy fucking month. Retrograde has been just kicking the hell out of people's asses. And we are not oblivious to that. So we're definitely going to give you some awesome November albums that have been released. And we're super happy to have Defiler of the Crown Art with us this evening, my brother Cody. And before we get into this madness, I want you to share this shit out. Share it out anywhere and everywhere that there is a metal lover. We want you to also share with us some albums that have come out in the month of November throughout the years that have maybe touched your heart, and we need to go back and kind of revisit it a little bit. And we're going to take a quick commercial break to our brothers at Villain Arts Tattoos. Check that shit out. Oh, that's right. You guys know what the fuck to do. Every single week I tell you this. When Villain Arts Tattoos comes to your city, your state, your town, you need to get your asses down there and get a high quality tattoo from some of the best fucking artists in the country. And this weekend, my wife will be there in Tampa, Florida. Tampa. If you are ready to get a high quality tattoo, check out all the performers and definitely go see my wife, Mischief. You want to make sure that you're there. I would be there myself, but this weekend, myself and the Defiler of the Crown will be at Memphis Monster Con. Anybody that is in or around Memphis, we are about to set that shit on fire. Come down, hang out with us, check out the great original art from the Defiler of the Crown Art, as well as I will have so much ooey gooey Reaper goodness for you. I got signed prints, DVDs, stickers, t-shirts, and a lot of the selections from my online store, Little Owl Mystics. So come on down. It's going to be a great time. And as fucking always, no charge for selfies. That shit's ridiculous, but a lot of my good celebrity friends will be there. The great CJ Graham, Tyler Main, Felissa Rose, Ken Faree, and so many countless other horror icons. It's going to be bad fucking ass. All right. So how are you doing tonight, brother?
I'm here. I'm tired, but it's been one of one of them shitty work weeks. You know how it is. It's only damn Wednesday.
It's hump day, though.
Oh, yeah.
So that means you've gotten over the hump. And all of us have. So congratulations.
Believe me, I need to get over at hump and go back to my normal routine at work.
Right? Totally. But normally we're on, Unholy Testicle Tuesday. So we're almost to Thursday. So I feel like we can definitely say it is Thursday, Wednesday. That's right. Us here at Tracks of the Damned, Morgue Rot Entertainment, taking over the world right now. We're going to hoist our glasses to you right now. We are going to say it doesn't matter what kind of week you're having. It doesn't matter what's got you down, who's got you down. Motherfucking A, we're here to talk about some metal, and we're going to have a good time. Cheers to y'all. All right.
I should have just held up the whole damn bottle and did it that way.
You totally could have done that. So here we are. Let's go ahead and get right down to it. My first pick is an album that a lot of people, for some reason, took a big shit on, and I don't know why. We're talking about releases that have been iconic or game-changing or maybe hidden gems that you guys might have missed over the years, in recent years, as a matter of fact. So my first pick for November is the follow-up album to one of the most iconic Rob Zombie albums of all time, which was Hellbilly Deluxe. And I mean, let's face it, it was hit after hit after hit after hit. But damn it, there was a darker record, a heavier record that was the follow-up to it. And we're talking about, I mean, fucking WWE even featured one of the songs from this record as one of their pay-per-view songs. And I'm talking about The Sinister Urge.
This album is so damn heavy and dark.
It is heavy and super fucking dark, but super fun. And I think that people, when they first heard it, they were listening for, the next Living Dead Girl or the next Dragula. But this record was so high energy, so hard hitting, and I mean, just awesome. It fucking drum beats from the former Testament drummer, John Tempesta, who was delivering that stomp beat all the way through Hellbilly Deluxe. But come this record, they amped it up. You still had that signature feel. But I think people just didn't gravitate that much to this record because it didn't have those hits like that first record did. For me, though, I fucking loved it.
I do too. It's definitely one of my top.
Yeah. My favorite track off this record was I Feel So Numb. That song I still jam out to this day because we all have that moment where we're so fucking jazzed and we feel numb to everything that fucking sucks about our environment or, where we're at in life. It's one of those tunes that you can lay back to, party to, let your inner ghoul come out. That I highly recommend. If you haven't gotten down to this record in 20, 30 fucking years, because this came out in 98, I want to say, definitely get back down to this record. There are some songs on here that I think you guys are really, really going to enjoy. Gary Dondo in the house. What is going on, my brother? I appreciate you as always. We are talking about some of the best November metal releases of all time. So yeah, definitely get down to this one. It's worth it.
Ironhead's on that album, isn't it? The song
It
Ironhead.
is.
It is.
Yeah.
That's I love that. I think Ozzy was featured in it as well. I love that song.
It's a fucking stomper, man. If you're having
Yeah.
a bad day, there are tracks on this record that will get you through so much shit that you don't even realize. It
For me,
still has
Rob,
the same fun. It's just there were so many hits on that first record, and I think some people kind of threw up their nose to it because it didn't sound like the first one.
for me, Rob, I don't honestly. For me, I don't think there's anything Rob Zombie put out that it is shitty to me.
Right.
He's just one of those artists that I just put on. Even his newer stuff that is a little bit more out there. I mean, he carries that traditional like Carney spook show vibe into everything. So he's naturally going to do some quirky shit, but he does it with style though.
Well, and he had Johnny Five, beating out
Yeah.
some killer fucking riffs.
That song he put out not too long ago called "Everybody's Fucking in a UFO." There's a lyric in there that every time I hear it, it makes me think of Babylon. He says they didn't have nothing but jizz on the walls and the bones of a mangled priest. And when he says that shit, Babylon pops into my head every fucking time.
Well, that and King Freak,
King
Freak,
killer.
he's the leader of the charge when it comes to all of us freaks, sideshow acts, whatever you want to call us. So,
Yeah.
hell yeah. What is your first pick, man?
Like you talked about before, I didn't do too many older bands because I feel like we could have brought it into the new age a little bit. But I do have one album that's from '79. It was released on November the 9th, 1979. It isn't really a full album; it's more of an EP. But it's Iron Maiden's The Soundhouse Tapes. It's your first dive into what will become the fucking powerhouse of Iron Maiden, which Bruce Dickinson wasn't on. Bruce Dickinson wasn't the vocals on the first album, and he wasn't on this either. It's I do not know how to say his last name, so I'm probably going to butcher it. Paul Di'Anno. Is that how you say it?
Paul Di'Anno. That's right.
Di'Anno.
And I feel like, just because, Iron Maiden ended up getting one of the most recognizable, most prolific vocalists of all time to lead the charge for Maiden, Bruce Dickinson. Paul Di'Anno had a different sound. He had a grittier voice. He wasn't operatic, but when that first record came out, Killers, we're talking about fucking Killers, man. It stood toe to toe with AC/DC because, AC/DC was already kind of becoming this blow up success. I thought his voice was very good, but I don't think it could have delivered the power metal that was about to happen.
He was in his own league of vocals. I feel Iron Maiden could have been successful with him too, but I don't. Like you said, they wouldn't have that power metal status they have now if they didn't have Bruce Dickinson with them.
Exactly. I mean, they were a different Maiden at that time, but somebody signed them, and they liked what they heard.
On that EP, you can hear the beginning stages of, like the heavy riffs and the high notes from the guitar. You can hear it developing, but
exactly. Very beat driven, and just all around badass.
It wasn't, but they're hard to find now. There's only 5,000 copies of that EP made, so if you can find one now, you're gonna have a piece of history, especially with Paul passing away recently. So
I was gonna say, may he rest in peace. If it wasn't for him, Maiden would have never became what they are now. Because that was the entrance, that was the doorway, to what was about to happen. But unfortunately, Paul is no longer with us. So this is awesome that they were able to release that. Go back and rock out to some Killers, man. That first record, it was very, very fucking good. It's a different Iron Maiden, but at the same token, there are shades that still kind of goes hand in hand with some of the classics that we know from the 80s. So excellent fucking choice, man. Arguably the band, the style, the everything about this band has paved the way for the first wave of black metal in every sense of the imagination. Undoubtedly the most prolific that was to really set Norway on fire to up the ante in the very early 80s. In November of 82, we have the iconic fucking record known as Black Metal by the band Venom. This album has been cited more times over as being the most influential record at that time. Now, some people say, you know, Kiss, early Kiss from the 70s also had something to do with Norway and the explosion of true black metal, which nothing more than just face paint, if you ask me. So
they had the look. Kids had that look. Especially early Gene Simmons having the spikes, the armor, the blood. He had the look, and you know, it's like when we talked to Dale, he's like, they had the imagery.
They did. They didn't have the sound. They didn't have the heaviness. There was nothing heavy about Kiss, but the heavy factor came from Venom. This album is not like you would think. It's not like what you think you would hear from a black metal band, but they are the ones that kind of solidified the thrashiness of it, pushing the boundaries, the heavy 30-second note picking, all the way to the drums. The drums were moving at a pace that no one was used to. And of course, they took a few keys from, you guessed it, fucking Motorhead. Motorhead influenced fucking Venom just as much in terms of the thrash factor. And then, you know, kind of like you had Merciful Fate also putting that influence into what they were doing. The vocals were definitely a little bit more on the witch style of singing. It was not the crazy guttural growls that we know and love from traditional black metal as we know it today. The bands like Mayhem and all the other ones, Dimmu Borgir, Cradle of Filth. But you can hear the influence of that record.
Kronos is like, his voice definitely, like, he laid the base for it. Like, they just took what he was doing and just made it a little bit more deeper and add a little bit more fry to it and created a whole new genre of music.
Exactly. And you know, they didn't look like your typical black metal bands either, but Venom still had a style. They had the unholy flair of what was to come, and the next generation definitely took it to a whole nother level.
Yep.
All right.
For my second one, we're gonna bring it way into the new age.
And that's okay, because you know, so many times we do these best of months, and you always see it being, you know, Ozzy or Sabbath or, you know, Judas Priest and you know, all that stuff. So it's time to throw some game changers at y'all out there in the more.
It's gonna be a deathcore, kind of a deathcore band. And they're called Signs of the Swarm. They have the album is the Disfigurement of Existence. That's ingested.
Nope. Sorry.
You're good. That's it there.
There we go. I love the artwork. The artwork on this record is fucking stellar.
Every one of their albums, they have artwork like that on it, and he has some of the nastiest vocals that's in metal today. If y'all want to check out a song from that one, look up "The Cesspool of Ignorance" or "Lifeless Visitors." To me, on that album, that's the two heaviest songs. But for me, this is an album I'll put on, just let it play. Most time with newer bands and newer deathcore, I don't really flip through. I enjoy as much of it as I can get. But they're definitely on my bucket list. They're a band I want to see. They've come through a few times, and it just ain't been the right moment to go see them. But if y'all want to check out newer metal, they're definitely a heavy hitter to find and look up.
Absolutely. And this is a band that I myself am going to have to get familiar with. So definitely interested. Typically, I don't gravitate towards deathcore bands too much. But from what you're saying, it definitely sounds like a good time.
They're right there in the realm with what Lorna Shore. He's right there in the realm of real. They're in that realm there. They have some similarities, but I'm Will Ramos fanboy. I can't help it. But he's always in deathcore world, he's gonna have the vocals that I wish I had. But this guy here, he carries it just as well.
Hell yeah.
I can't remember his name. I'm trying to remember his damn name. I should have wrote it down, but I can't. But
nice.
But yeah. For me, I love older metal. It is what made metal what it is now. Mm-hmm. But I think bands today need just as much recognition because they're carrying it on. They're taking the bands that we all love and they're taking their spin. And there's so much more technology that they can control and make anything sound, I don't want to say better, but it'll be more clear and be just as heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's so many different levels to extreme metal that a lot of these bands are picking and choosing certain techniques, whether it's tremolo picking, blast beating, gravity blast, all that kind of stuff. Now, would you say that the bass is kind of up in the mix with this band, or is it a little bit more back in the fray? Is there like a really good power bottom end?
It's there. You can pick up on the bass being there, but there's still more heavy guitar fronted bands. But on some of the different songs, you'll pick up the bass. You can hear the bass there. They don't cover it out. Like they pretty much just like everybody is
in the mix.
No, not as it may sometimes, but sometimes that's in newer metal that it happens like it did back in the day. Sometimes it'll get lost, but for me, I always can pick out each instrument that's there. So I just pick up on it. The other people you may, because I know you listen for bass a lot to make sure it doesn't get lost in the mix. So
right, but awesome, and that's kind of like if you're a fan of Will Ramos and Lorna Shore, this is definitely something that would be up your alley.
Yeah.
So definitely worth checking out. Hell yeah. All right. Excellent picks so far. Again, everybody out in the attic section, if you know of a great record that has come out over the years in the month of November, please share that with us because we want to make sure that we discuss it. And 9 times out of 10, it might be something we overlooked. But the kind of the strange thing that was a bit of a challenge for us was the fact that there are not as many breakthrough, smash hits that have come out in the month of November. So please feel free to share that with us. Now, this is going to be the last staple band that I'm going to discuss because I also wanted to bring forth, before talking about some newer bands as well. But this record in the Black Sabbath catalog, I think, was highly overlooked.
It's
You know,
so look, I haven't ever listened to it, so I'm gonna have to find it and listen to it.
exactly. And as a matter of fact, it is this month and this year that it has been brought back out after 15 fucking years. And I'm so happy about this. I am so stoked. The fact that a later incarnation of Black Sabbath in the early 90s, this record really, in my opinion, gave us one of the first all Norse Viking mythology in an album that encompasses so many different parts of the Viking sagas. And you never would have thought that would come out of Black Sabbath. And I know my usual counterpart, Human the Hoofbeast, shits on this record, shits on Tony Martin as a vocalist, but damn it, you can't tell me that when Cozy Powell, the legendary, let me say that again, the legendary drummer, Cozy Powell, joined on for the Headless Cross, him and Tony Martin sparked a new life's blood into the failing Black Sabbath of the 80s. Let me say that again. The failing Black Sabbath during the 80s, because after Ronnie James Dio left the band, they kind of fell to the wayside. They fell into obscurity with some really shitty records. Eternal Idol. That most people don't like to talk about in that catalog. But, you know, after the success, the rebirth of Black Sabbath with the Headless Cross record, the same lineup stayed in full fucking swing. Now, Geezer Butler was not a part of this. Tony Iommi was the only one, the original founding member, still leading that band. But with Cozy Powell and the powerhouse vocalist of Tony Martin, they were able to put out a all Viking album known as Tyr. Some people called it TYR. Well, guess what? That is not the case. This album was based on the god in the Norse pantheon known as Tyr, or the war god, the god of strength, of power, and just unending courage to continue on. Every single track on this record takes you into another world. It's got all different kinds of like rhythmic time changes. Tony Martin is just, his voice is so brilliant. It's not operatic. It's just his range on this record goes from as high and as low as he can go. And it's just brilliance. The guitar solos of Tony Iommi, the riffing on this record is amazeballs. And the funny part is the only single that was released off this record was a love song, and the video doesn't even do it justice.
It's the 80s. Of course it was going to be a love song.
What's that?
I said it was the 80s. Of course it was going to be a love song. Everybody had to get their ballad in.
Well, and that's very true. That's very true. But this particular ballad, though, has to do with the Viking gods and goddesses, like the relationship between Odin and Freya. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was supposed to be about. But when you see the video, though, you know, the band is in a warehouse and, you know, doing the typical late 80s thing, and then has a terrible model and well, actually two terrible models doing the male and female presence within this love song. It just doesn't do it justice. But if you haven't heard it now, after 15 fucking years, you can listen to it yet again.
I'm gonna check it out. I had no clue it existed. So,
yep, and I'm gonna give you some songs that you definitely want to check out. The Lawmaker, Anno Mundi, as well as the Sabbath Stones. Those, and the Battle of Tyr is just epic in every sense of the imagination. There's double bass. There's unholy fucking drum fills in it that you're going to love. The power of Cozy Powell. May he rest in peace, because he passed away some years ago from cancer. But man, his work on this record is stellar. So if you are a riff lover, which I know everybody out there in Morgrot land loves them some Tony Iommi, he delivers. But drum wise, this record is fucking powerful as far as its rhythms.
yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Rebecca says, I got one. However, it's not exactly metal, but I think it's pretty badass. Well, go ahead and share it with us. We'll make sure to put it on. Achilles, what's up, my Scottish brother? Tyr is my favorite album by Black Sabbath. You see, that's because he knows the power, the strength of that record. It was a game changer for this band. And here's another little side note for this record. The keys that are being played on this record are so epic. If it didn't have the keys going with it, I don't think it would have been as powerful as it was. So that makes me feel amazeballs. Thank you, Achilles. Rebecca says, Dolly Parton Rockstar came out November 17th last year. You know what? And good for her. She's never done a record like that in her entire career. So good for her. She's a great
fucking Rob Halford's on that album, so it had to turn out some decently somehow.
Well, you know, and it's a kind of a funny side note about that. When Rob Halford joined her on stage, when she got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, doesn't quite make sense. If it was the Country Music Awards, I would say, yeah, Lifetime Achievement Award. What the fuck? But she got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he joined her on stage to sing that staple song, Jolene. We all know and love the song, Jolene. He outsang her.
It's Rob Halford. There's no controlling his voice
on
like
that rendition.
like there's no controlling that man's voice. When it happens, it just happens.
And when he feels it to his core. And he was all over that shit. It was incredible. But it was cool to see them together. I remember posting that all over my shit when that moment happened. So excellent record. Yes, thank you, Rebecca.
My goal on this one was to try to give y'all some of the nastiest, gnarliest shit I could find. Pretty much that was into the new age. That's
right
for me. I love clean vocal metal. Like I love power metal. I love all of that. But when somebody hits gutturals, hits goblin screams or something like that, or fries, that's when I start to get little butterflies inside. And this band here, I've been listening to them for a while now. I found them. I think I found them when I was a teenager. But anyways, this album come out November 29th, 2019. It's Cattle Decapitation's Death Atlas.
I mean, what a fucking great, not only great record, but a great album cover.
He has such a unique sound to me that I don't think there's nobody that can imitate that. He does the goblins, yes, but he has it's just kind of his clean operatic sound that he makes that I've never heard from anybody else.
Well, you know what's really, really interesting about that is the fact that he can switch it up at the blink of an eye. And
Yeah.
that's what is, I mean, he set the bar. I feel he set the standard, Travis Ryan did, to be able to switch flawlessly between those vocals. Will Ramos, to this day, would not be able to do what he does if it wasn't for the influence of Travis Ryan.
Yeah, you can. There's a few songs you hear when Will hits those goblins. You can hear the cattle decapitation influence.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt.
On this album, I think. Do what?
Go ahead.
Said on this album, I always try to pick certain songs off albums that I talk with y'all about. So they're usually my favorite songs off the album, or they're just a song I think hits harder than any of the others. One Day Closer to the End of the World off of this album is a fucking hit.
Well, I mean, it's not like it's, we don't know that cattle decapitation is not for the weak of heart.
Yeah.
They are above and beyond, in my opinion, the modern day greatest. If I'm going too far, let me know, Morgrot Universe. But I want to say that they are the modern day greatest extreme metal band to be doing what they're doing 20 some fucking years later from when they first came out. Who would have thought that they would still be going strong to this day? They are so technically proficient. The drumming is out of this world. Sometimes you don't know what world he's in. And of course, we've interviewed the lead guitar player, the longest member of the band. And it sucks that I cannot remember his name right now.
I'm in the same boat. I can't remember nobody's name for shit. I'm sitting here struggling. I'm like,
it's the woes of Hump Day, because we have so much more on our minds. But yes, his guitar playing is just fucking sick, effortless, makes it look easy. I don't know, Shredderific.
Another band that's in the realm that's not for the faint of heart that's kind of similar to Cattle Decapitation for me is fucking Infant Annihilator.
Oh,
yes. Their song Unholy Grave Birth. Holy shit.
Woo! And let's take it a few steps further. I know that there's an album that came out in November by Thanta Faxath, which is a band that Hoofbeast has mentioned multiple times on the show as being one of the game changers of what's it called? Avant-garde extreme metal. So yeah, these bands just keep taking it to a whole nother level.
Yep.
Aaron says Judas Priest UK Killing Machine, aka Hellbent for Leather. Its UK release was in November. Yeah. Are you talking about KK Downing's Priest? I'm kind of confused. Well,
I think he was saying that it was released in the UK in November.
Oh, okay. Hellbent for Leather is definitely an iconic album for Judas Priest. Now that I could figure out the hieroglyphics a little bit.
I know I fucked up some typing, so we all did.
But it's so true that Judas Priest has managed to put out album after album after album after album, as well as Iron Maiden. You can always see the staple bands that keep getting brought up every time we do a best of the month show. And that's because they were fucking workhorses, man. You wonder why these guys can still do it in their fucking 70s. Fucking Rob Halford's what, 75?
He's up there. It's like when
He's way
I
up
watched
there.
I watched the interview with Ozzy, and they was talking about like when they wrote the debut album Black Sabbath. Like they talk about, they all went to this house and they locked themselves away and just started writing, using damn kitchen knives and shit to make sound effects and everything else. So I feel music today, I believe bands still, they still get together, they jam and write, but I don't feel it has that much dedication, I guess you could say, because they're not going to lock themselves in the house with each other for fucking weeks at a time and not, they're going to do their own things. They probably write lyrics on their phone or pass it away around. I mean, it's there, but it just doesn't have that old school oomph behind it.
Well, and it's kind of a testament in a way, because bands today are constantly, because the music business has changed so much over the 50 plus years of metal, people, that they're like, oh, I have to concentrate on what is the trend. I have to do this. I have to have this look. I have to be about this or be about that in order to catch people's attention. It's no longer about the music, but ever so often there is a band that rises that has totally changed the fucking game in many respects, or they're able to rise because they have crossed over audiences. And as much as many of us hate to admit it, Ghost is one of those bands that has come from obscurity and changed the game because they are appealing to so many different audiences for so many different reasons. And, well, let's face it. I mean, Hoof Beast isn't here, so we can say this. Sleep Token is so relevant right now because they have done the impossible. They have reached a mass audience that loves so many different genres of music, period.
For me, and like...
You have to give them props for that. You just have to.
Sleep Token is not metal. Like, that's my biggest draw. That's my biggest draw on them, is they try to get roped into the metal realm. They're not fucking metal. But take that aspect away. When they're what they are, they do it well, and some of it doesn't sound that fucking bad.
See, we have a little freedom now, people. We're not afraid to give it that credence. I mean, let's put it this way. If you're a metalhead and, you have a goth chick as your partner or whatever the case may be, the shit is not bad to fuck to. Let's just be honest. Let's put it out there. Because
that song, if you break it down and listen, don't listen to it as music. Listen to the fucking lyrics of it.
Right.
Go past the sound of it and actually pay attention to lyrics. He talks about a lot of different things in there that you could...
Yes. That you can relate to. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. You're glitching, so if I cut you off a while ago, I did not mean to.
No, that's okay. Everything's good on my end. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's a little bit of a delay.
No, it's a Tennessee internet is what it is.
Lizzie says that's how Aaron started getting me into metal. And that's okay. And that's the thing that all of the Metal Injection, Loudwire, all that stuff, all those guys were saying that, you know what? They're not metal, but God damn it, they're a gateway to getting people who normally would not be into metal because from them, they find other bands they like.
Will Ramos introduced me to Sleep Token.
Now, isn't that interesting?
because he's
You know what I
covered
mean?
like he's done, but like he's covered their songs on YouTube. There's videos of him. What is
That's
it?
right.
Hypnosis.
That's right. I did see that.
Then he fucking kills that song. So I'm not saying I'm a major Sleep Token fan. I'm not
Right.
saying that.
Exactly. We're not waving the
I
flag for them,
don't
but
know.
damn it, there are some songs there that I
No,
I really do enjoy the drummer. I love his technique, his rhythm usage. It's perfectly blended with a 7-string guitar because that's where you're getting the metal aspect of what they're doing. When they get to the height of excitement in their songs, that's when the metal-esque part of them comes out. And it really does kind of heighten the excitement. There's many songs that I really do enjoy by them. Rain is probably my favorite at the moment. So if you haven't gotten down to Sleep Token, check out the song Rain. And just about every fucking song on the latest record called Back to Eden.
that's
It's
my
dark.
favorite song there.
Oh,
Back
dude,
to
it's
Eden is my favorite, but
crazy.
Back to Eden, Alkaline, and Hypnosis.
Yeah.
That's my three. That's the three songs I really like by them, which I haven't really went past that because I don't want somebody to try to pull my metal card.
No, ain't
Because
nobody gonna pull it here because you know who is not here. So Chokehold is another one. If you want to
yeah,
talk,
that's a good one too.
if you want to
Yep.
talk about getting down and dirty and
that's a song
that
you
is
dim
the
the
song for you.
you go back and buy one of them dimmer light switches and you turn that fucker all the way to it's just about off and you throw that song on and just let what happens happen.
Yeah, that is what's going on when that song comes on. So don't even you know what I'm talking about out there in Morgrat Universe. Don't tell me for 1 second that you have not gotten some based on some of those songs because that is what's happening in the last 5 years. Babies were made to that record.
I guarantee it. Like there's somebody gonna name their kid after Sleep Token. It's gonna happen.
Because I mean, it is a rare occurrence if your chick, your partner, whoever, they're not wanting you listening to fucking Cannibal Corpse or some prolifically heavy fucking band. That I mean, it's they're 1 in a million. Not every chick is into the most extreme stuff. So, you know, sometimes you need a band like that.
This is gonna be a side note. This is gonna linger off into the goddamn program a little bit. But
probably
when we talked about songs on there before, when I said Pain Remains one by Lorna Shore was Rebecca's, that's because when me and her got engaged, I asked her during that song, and Adam was in Little Rock, Arkansas. It was during that song, and when he says, "I finally see that a world without you wasn't meant for me," that's when I wrote it on a note. I wrote a piece of paper, said, "Will you marry me?" on it, and I handed it to her right when those lyrics hit.
Damn.
So that's like mine and her song. So that's the reason she likes it. But yeah, they just got off on a side note. We was talking about fucking songs, so I couldn't help it.
Everybody has them. I mean, there's how many different Rammstein songs can we pull, you know, from the album Sehnsucht that have just gotten, you know, so many different memories. And shit, it's fun. It's not as heavy. It's not super heavy. And it's kind of like the band that I'm going to talk about next. The realm of power metal, in my opinion, was reborn with this next band. Not necessarily reborn because, I mean, let's face it, we all have our power metal favorites. But this band in particular brings the whole play of fantasy, medieval themes and stuff like that. All the cool shit from the UK and Germany, especially because this is a German band. And they're known as Blind Guardian. On November the 8th, Legacy of the Dark Lands came out, and it delivers everything that you want in a power metal band. And I think that's why the longevity of this group has continued on. It's a fresh face, it's a fresh feel. You know, we had Iron Maiden. Even though Maiden is still going strong, they have upped the ante. The themes of each record brings a new tale, a fresh tale, sometimes very dark tales. And that's what I like about them. So it says Blind Guardian, a German power metal band whose name is spoken with admiration and fondness because of this particular record. Full-blooded symphonic orchestra. That's one of the things that I think that separates this band from so many other power metal bands, is because they take risks, they take chances, they add extra instrumentation into the heaviness. Man, if you just take the vocals out, and his vocals are fan-fucking-tastic, man, first rate. His vocal range, his delivery is unsurpassed, and sometimes bone chilling. And that's, I got to almost put it into the King Diamond realm a little bit, because when King is delivering certain parts of the story, obviously his vocals really uplift them and really push the story forward. It's the same with this band. So if you have not gotten down to some Blind Guardian and you like the heavy, you like a thrashiness, you like the heaviness, but at the same token, really amazing vocals, especially if you're a Bruce Dickinson fan, check that record out.
I haven't heard it before. That's another one I might check out.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good thing. I drive a lot for work.
Lizzie Manson has been making babies for about 25 years, maybe 30.
Yeah.
Let's just put it out there. That is the real. There hasn't been a Manson album that hasn't brought somebody into this world of ours.
I'm so ready for that new album to drop to see how much is actually in it.
Fucking hell, man. The 2 tracks that he's already given us are fucking amazing. The video for each of them, just so aesthetically dark and amazeballs. The man is back, and thank you, Nuclear Blast.
Yeah.
For that. She goes, laughing my ass off. No, babies. His pullout game is unmatched.
See, everybody's got to know their stroke number.
I understand that. I appreciate that. I'm just saying the man's music is sexy, and it's heavy, and it's full of pain and darkness, and we love that shit.
Speaking of, my next one is going to be from a British band. I seen them in Nashville. They was on tour with Lorna Shore, Of Sulphur, Aborted, and Angel Maker. And they're called Ingested. They're a UK-based band. They have an album called Ashes Lie Still. This album's only 2 years old. That exact image on my battle vest, that is my back patch on my battle vest. He is one of the gnarliest sounding vocalists you will ever hear. They have their older albums are just as good. He's full blown gnarly, nasty death metal at its core. Like it has all the heavy hitting aspects of you'd want to hear. Off this album in particularly, the self-titled out song and Shadows in Time are the two songs they're the first two songs on the album. As soon as it hits, you'll get drawn into it. And for me, it's an album I don't skip anything on. I just let it play. Which there's a few of their albums that's that way, but like I said, I wanted to bring in some relatively new bands. So this is one. They're not exactly new, but they're newer. They're really nice. They're really nice guys. I got to meet them after the concert. We stood around and talked to them for a little while. That's what I love about some bands of their status. They like, which Will Ramos has hit that status. He does meet and greets. He will let you know where he's going to be at, and you can do small things like that. But he doesn't do it at venues now because people are fucking crazy. But
yeah.
Majority of the bands that was on that tour, I've seen them 4 times, and each band that was with them will go to their merch table and let you come up, talk to them, bullshit with them, take pictures with them. And they was really down to earth. They will talk to you about any kind of music you want to. They'll talk about their music. They're just really nice guys. And like I asked them, I said, "What is y'all are nice, upstanding British gentlemen, right?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "What the hell is spotted dick?" And when I did, the lead singer put his arm around my neck and said, "I think it's something you need to go to the doctor for." They was really cool, but
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I think majority of the people that watch this show they'll enjoy it. If you having one of those days and you just need some gnarly shit to just get you through the day, throw this album on. Go back and check out their older albums. But this one, it was released, like I said, November the 4th of 2022, and I believe they're still touring with this album.
Oh,
so
nice. Okay.
If you get to see them anytime soon, you'll probably hear some of these tracks here. But Shadows in Time will draw you in. It'll hook you from the beginning. So,
hell yeah. So what prolific, death metal band would you probably put them up against?
That's hard. That's going to be hard. I might have to actually think about that because I don't really know.
If you're a fan of kind of thing, you know what I'm saying?
They're full blown death metal. They don't have no clean in there, so I'm trying to think of a band that doesn't do clean as well. That's a little bit older to put them against.
Probably Cannibal. I mean, Cannibal doesn't.
Yeah, they have that. Cannibal Corpse will be there. They just don't have the breakdown chugginess. They're full blown. They go. They do their breakdown.
Energy, just constant.
Yeah, they're just in your face the entire time. Yeah.
Yeah.
With Shadows in Times, they started out slow, then they just railroad your ass with it. But they're definitely, Cannibal Corpse would be a high one to put with them.
Yeah, because I mean, even with Cannibal, they only had one record, and I can't stress this enough to the metal community, especially death metal. The Wretched Spawn was probably one of the most experimental records that the band ever did, that had slower tunes and almost kind of brought you a little bit of doom in there as well, even though the vocals are still signature George. If you want to hear a death metal record that is not full blast, full force all the way through, that is definitely an album for you. But
this is one of them bands when you're having a shit day and you're already in a pissed off mood and you're going to throw on music that's going to piss you off to the point that you chill out. This is going to be that band.
Hell yeah.
They're killer.
Awesome. So everybody out there in the Morgue Riot universe, there you go. Check them out. Ingested. I know I will definitely check them out as well because I am always looking for other bands.
The lead singer, he's got this little. When he's performing, he's got this little. He moves a certain way and it's kind of possessed robot, I guess I'd call it. But he moves a certain way when he's fucking and he's performing, and it just draws you in. Like I can't stop looking. So he's definitely entertaining. He's got black makeup around his eye, under his eyes, and all that shit. So
interesting. All right, yeah, definitely going to be on my list of things to check out. Most def. So another one that I want to bring up to all of us here in the Morgrot universe is yet another death metal band. It's the Perfect System. This band is from Denver, Colorado. Their self-titled record definitely blew people away, but this second record, though, they were able to kind of come a little bit more into their own, adding a lot of progressive feel to it, and therefore appealing to a lot of other extreme metal fans. It has that flair and flash and the harsh vocals, the gutturals, all that shit that you love about death metal. But at the same token, they were able on this second record to do a little bit more of atmospheric elements into what they're doing. And this band is Blood Incantation.
I almost picked this album. Almost.
Yeah. It was released in November 22nd. And unfortunately, I don't have the year. But I like bands like this that give us a little bit of somewhat of a break, but it almost feels like an acid trip. Maybe mushrooms for some of you shroomers out there in the Morgrot universe, where they can kind of bend your mind at certain parts where they add some of these haunting type of riffs, especially from the guitarists. Hold on. The single Inner Paths to Outer Space is the one track off of this record that I definitely challenge a lot of you out there to check out, because it is death metal in every sense of the imagination, but it kind of gives you soundscapes that can kind of take you to another world that you're not used to when listening to death metal bands. They are brutal as fuck. Don't get me wrong, but they give you that break, that dark break that you need in between the onslaught of destruction, and then give you this empty fucking like fearful kind of feeling. And it really draws you in with a lot of those open chords and just different elements that make it even dark compared to the fast and the heavy shit.
I mean, that's what it. I've listened to that album a few times. It's been a minute since I've listened to it, but my go-to when I need a break and I still want dark is like Electric Funeral and Acid Witch. Mm-hmm. Those are my. For me, those two bands can take you on a trip that you ain't ever been on before, and you ain't even got to be high. So,
yeah, for sure. Which is why there was a Electric Wizard album.
Yeah, Electric Wizard is what I meant.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say
Black Sabbath popped into my head.
Always does it for me.
Yeah, but they're so fucking dark and fuzzy. Like,
it's so fuzzy that I it doesn't matter how much fur you could possibly grow on one's face or head. They are the epitome of fuzziness, to the point where sometimes you can't make out what they're strumming. And Well, let's face it. Electric Wizard's fucking vocalist. She is captivating and mind blowing. I believe the album is it Dope Lord? No,
I know.
it's
I'm
Dope
gonna look it up.
something. It's Dope something.
Yeah.
It was my honorable mention, and that's why I was like, when you brought that up, I always get excited about that band because doom bands always catapult us
Dope
into
Throne.
Dope Throne. That's it. I knew it was Dope something.
I knew it till I was like, wait a minute. Dope Lord don't sound right, but it kind of did sound right too. So I was like, wait a minute, I gotta look. If I did, it was gonna bug the shit out of me.
You know, and that's why I'm always like very much on the band The Sword. The Sword also can kind of take you into this other world as well when it comes to doom bands. And it's not like we didn't have doom bands on the list, because I don't think we have your final fifth one yet, do we?
I didn't do a doom band this time. I did all kind of like newer year. So that's the reason I threw Electric Wizard and Acid Witch in there just a little bit to give it a little doominess.
Oh shit! Of course. I mean, King Buffalo is another one. Sleep had a big
Sleep's
album.
Got shit that'll go. Well. Sleep's got something that'll take you on some adventures as well.
Even if you're not fucked up, they will take you there. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like Electric Wizard's one of them bands you could lay in the dark with some earphones on, and you're gonna go on a damn trip. And it might not be a good one, but you're going on a trip.
Well, I mean, it's no secret that I've been, kind of going through my own trials and tribulations as of late. And there is one. Well, there's two. There's two doom bands that have really been getting me through. I know we're kind of getting off topic from November releases, but this is what this show is all about. We're here to give you guys a look into bands that you might not be listening to, or maybe you've heard of them but you haven't gave them a shot. A Pale Horse Named Death. I
checked them out the other day. They're fucking killer. Like,
dude, I told you. See, right fucking there. Reflections of the Dead. I have that shit on repeat every fucking day. I know it sounds fucked up, but if you're in a depressive kind of mood, they really kind of help with that in a very strange way, because a lot of what they're talking about is, doom and gloom, much like the great Typo Negative, which, by the way, half of the band is the remaining surviving members of Typo Negative. And that's why I think I love it so much. But it gives you these clean, really spacey fucking vocals. That song in particular just hits me. I mean, every October, and I know it's November now, but every October they come back like a bad habit. And
I listen to them, but like all day they were riding around for work. I was like, holy shit, how did I not know who they are?
Exactly. They're like the illegitimate love child of Typo Negative. Reaching back to like 2010 after the St. Peter left us. That band was formed, and man, it has got such gooey classics.
Like the other day, when I clicked on them, it was alternating between them and Crowbar. It was just going back and forth. I'm like, damn, somebody made a good playlist.
Oh, man, yeah. Crowbar is definitely a New Orleans staple, and rightfully so. Kirk Winstead as a riff master, he's badass.
Mm-hmm. But a year ago or my go? I don't know. I lost track.
I actually gave my last one, so we're on to your last one.
My last one is going to be it's going to be a kind of a recent release. It's about 4 years old now. It come out November the 27th, 2020. And it's a band called Ashes to Emperor, and the album is As the World Collapsed. It's
Look at that cover. That is about a 10,000-pound bunch of sexiness right there.
this is going to be a band that has a little bit of everything to offer in the metal world to me. Like there's some slow. So the intro to the album is slow. It sets the bar, like it gives you that atmosphere that you're going to go straight into chaos.
We love that.
the whole album is chaotic as shit. I mean, that's the only way I know how to describe it, is pure chaos. I mean, they do it well. There's 2 songs on there. Like I always try to pick 2 songs off of there. Like I said, that's gonna give you the best that it can offer. The first one is gonna be called "Kill the King," and it's about exactly what it sounds like. The next one, I'm not sure if I'm gonna pronounce this right, but it's called "Burn the Wings of Seraphim." Seraphim.
Seraphim.
It is fucking heavy. Like it's heavy. It's dark. I've tried to bring some of the heaviest and the darkest I could to this one because we don't get to bring new bands too much. So there's a hell of a list I can still go through, but these are just some bands that was quick and I knew had something in November. And I feel like y'all guys would, like all of y'all would enjoy.
Yes.
This album, this is gonna, it's another dark and gloom album. It's gonna take you somewhere that it's not of this world, and I promise y'all will enjoy it. I enjoy it. I mean, I'm just as fucked up as y'all are, so.
Metal is soothing. It gets us through some of the craziest times. It gets us through our highs as well. Those moments where everything is going good and it's multi-genre. You know what I'm saying? It can be a religious experience. It can be anger personified. It can also be loving. It just depends.
For me, if I could explain metal to somebody, like if nobody that ever experienced metal, go and think of a time where you was the most pissed off that you have ever been. Find the gnarliest album you can find and listen to it. Sit there and just don't think about nothing else. Just pay attention to that album and see how the anger or the guilt, the hate, the sadness that you have fades away.
Right.
And
exactly right.
There's no really other way to explain it. That you have to feel what you listen to, or you're just gonna be bored as shit.
For sure. Metal is kind of like, to me, the one genre that is all inclusive. It hits everything. It can take you on a trip. It can, there's always something you can identify with it or relate to. It's not all struggle. It's not all brutality. It's everything. It's fantasy. It can take you back in time, to different time periods in our history. It's amazing.
Sabaton's a good band that does that.
Oh man, yes.
I've been, for some reason, the past few days, I've been on a Rob Zombie and a Sabaton kick, and I can't get past it. It's either one. I'm alternating back and forth. I'm like, what in the fuck is going on?
Well, and their whole shtick is some of the most prolific times in battle history or war.
I love history, so I think that's what it is. Like, I love history, and then they just mix history and metal together. So I guess it's just
exactly. So hopefully we have outlined some amazing bands for you to revisit, albums to revisit, maybe reconnect with that you haven't listened to in a long time. November is not a real heavy kind of a month of like prolific albums, except for, like I said, we talked about it before, a lot of the workhorses that are constantly putting album out after album after album after album. But there are bands that have come out, and let's just say it, let's say it fair, the last 20 years that have put out some albums, like the new Sepultura is another one. After Max Cavalera left, they had put one out in November and have continued going, up to this point. So many different records.
I just seen a post about, speaking of them, one of the members of Sepultura just invited the Calavera brothers to play with them. So that's, if they do, it's going to be hell of a reunion, boy.
Exactly. Can you imagine Max and Igor getting on stage with the last two founding members of the band? It would definitely be a cause for celebration. But I mean, both of them have gone on to give us some other iconic bands like Soulfly, and of course the Cavalera brothers. So, my goodness. Oh yeah, I agree with you, Aaron. History and metal have to mention Manowar. Manowar, as cheesy as they kind of looked and how they were, they still have earned their seat at the table.
As soon as he said Manowar, that fucking song Manowar Kills popped in my head. I'm like, damn it, Aaron.
Right? Oh, I absolutely agree. Oh, so fucking cool. But yeah, hopefully, we've mentioned some that you haven't heard before. Maybe you have heard them before. Go back and check them out. I mean, we're all kind of like, oh, here comes Mariah Carey again. As soon as fucking October is over, you've seen the memes. I've been putting them out there too, because I'm like, fuck you. We don't want to hear that shit.
It's like that bitch is fucking frozen in ice until this time of year. She's slowly fucking thawing out. Like,
exactly. All you're doing right now is paying for her fucking continuing plastic surgery and paying that bitch's bills. Nobody gives a fuck what she wants for Xmas, because all we care about is what we're hoping for the Yule season as we get into winter, as metaphorically, spiritually, and otherwise, the culmination of the harvest season. And whether you all know it or not, we are in harvest season right now. And everything that you are trying to manifest for yourself, hopefully you all have done what we all do: blow some cinnamon into your home through your doorway, inviting abundance into your life. And we do it every month. And, we need it now more than ever, because so many of us are out there hurting and just stressing the fuck out. And some of these albums we talked about tonight can definitely help your overall mental health and help strengthen and give you hope. There's not too many popular genres out there in music that can do that. And when we say metal brings us all together, we mean just that. Thank you all so much for joining us on this auspicious Wednesday evening. Thank you to Defiler of the Crown Art for joining me as my co-pilot tonight. As always, sir, you lend us just so much. And I really, really enjoy that. Just some upcoming things tomorrow night. The return of Reapers Underground is in full effect with the actor, director, and pro wrestler Ronnie Angel is coming to the Underground, fresh from California. You're not going to want to miss that shit. He has been in so many amazing independent films, anything from sci-fi to horror to action, and has managed to act alongside some pretty very staple names in the business. So that's going to be a fun fucking time. So definitely join us tomorrow night at 8 p.m. CST. Oh, I'm sorry, 7 p.m. CST. I have to do it an hour early due to some time constraints. And then coming this Friday night, Reaper, the Lord of Darkness, and Mortimer Deadfellow are going to be back on the Backyard Horror Barbecue, as we are going to be talking about the best silent killers, something we've never done on the show. So we're going to be talking about some of the biggest icons of horror that were silent, never spoke a word, but yet they delivered such powerful performances. And we invite you to join us at 8 p.m. CST Friday evening. So to kick off your Memphis Monster Con weekend. Again, don't forget, if you're in the neighborhood, come and see me and Defiler of the Crown Art, as we will be there in Memphis lighting that shit up. So definitely keep one foot on the ground, one in the fire. Revisit some of these classic records and maybe some new jewels in the rough that you're about to find. The most important thing is to stay heavy.
Thank you for joining us on Reapers Underground. Stay tuned for more from Morgue Rot Entertainment in association with Black Flame